Hello everyone, welcome back to Easy Education London, and this is our GCSE English Literature predicted paper for 2024. Now, before we get started, don't forget to press the subscribe button, like and share with your friends, as it does help our channel grow. Thank you all for your continuous support. I do highly appreciate it. So this is the predictions for the upcoming literature paper exams for paper 1 and paper 2. So if you want to benefit from this video, make sure you stay until the end and do make sure you give this video a like. Now, starting off with some predicted paper questions for paper 1. Let's have a look at it in further detail. Read the following extract from Act 4, Scene 1. Macbeth has returned to the witches. So this is one of the predicted questions from the predicted paper, and it reads, starting with this extract, how does Shakespeare present ideas about the supernatural in Macbeth? So this is a question that may appear in your exams, and it's a question that you should revise and prepare for because it's something that may come up in your upcoming exams. So what I would say is you can take a screenshot of this and practice answering this question, as it is a possibility. Now the second question we have here reads the following. Read the following extract from Act 3, Scene 4. Macbeth has returned to the witches. Starting with this extract, how does Shakespeare present ideas about guilt in Macbeth? So that is, again, a potential question taken from a predicted paper, and it's something that you need to be well prepared for. Now, in terms of your preparation, in terms of your exams, you must learn your quotes. You must understand and learn the key themes within the text, and also looking at the key character analysis. So if you need to, you could have created flashcards, mind maps to help you remember, and importantly, practicing past paper questions under time conditions. Now, if you want that academic support and that boost, and if you want that support and guidance from expert and qualified teachers, do consider joining our online classes at Easy Education London. You may ask, why join our online classes? So there are many reasons, one of them being that you'll get that expert support and guidance, you'll get predicted papers, you'll get model answers, and plenty more. You'll receive constructive feedback from our expert teachers, many of them who have worked previously with exam boards and GCSE examiners. So if you are interested, do contact us via email, which is easyeducationlondon@gmail.com. And that is that. Now, our spaces are extremely limited, so if you're interested, do contact us today, as spaces are extremely limited. Now, that is specifically for Macbeth. Now, if I move on to A Christmas Carol, so to those of you studying A Christmas Carol, it reads the following. Read the following extract from the end of chapter 5. Scrooge sees Bob at work on Boxing Day. And the question reads, starting with this extract, how does Dickens present Scrooge's transformation in A Christmas Carol? So some of you have done this, or many of you, to those of you who I teach, you would know we've covered all the predicted questions, and we've looked at model answers, grade 9 answers for this question. And to everyone else, this is something that you should practice. It's a common question, and this question could have some relevance to the question you get next Monday. So it's important you practice this. If you need to screenshot, take a screenshot. It's a great way for you to prepare for your upcoming exams. And the second question we have is the following. Read the following extract from chapter 3. Scrooge is at the Cratchit's household with the ghost. Starting with this extract, how does Dickens present ideas about the power of family connections in A Christmas Carol? So that is the second predicted question from the predicted paper that you may come across in your upcoming exam. So how would you approach this? First things first, when you go into the exam, you need to make sure that you are annotating the keywords, the key phrases, looking at the key words, the key phrases. What do I mean by this? So you're looking at the verbs, the adjectives, the nouns, the language techniques, any similes, any metaphors, any emotive language, any hyperbole. Look at the sentence types, look at the sentence forms, look at the punctuation, and also look at the effect of language. How is it effective and why? What does it suggest? These are some things for you to consider and for you to talk about in further detail. Now let's have a look at some of our predictions for Paper 1 and Paper 2 in preparation for next Monday, and also the following Monday for English Literature Paper 2. So as you can see, these are some potential Macbeth questions, predicted questions that you may come across this year in 2024. Now, the first one reads, how does Shakespeare present the theme of guilt? Now, if you're wondering where you should be looking at Act 2, Scene 2, where Macbeth returns to Lady Macbeth after killing Duncan, and they discuss his horror and feelings of guilt. So that's a potential predicted question. Number 2, how does Shakespeare present the theme of kingship? Where should you be looking? You need to look at Act 4, Scene 3, where Malcolm and Macduff discuss Macbeth's tyrannical reign in Scotland. Now, to those of you who did tune in last year, you would have seen that we predicted kingship, or the theme of kingship, being a potential question. And who knows, the theme of kingship could be relevant to your question next week. Okay, it might not be. They may not use the word specifically kingship, right? The theme of kingship, but it could somehow tie with the question that you are answering. So just keep that in the back of your mind. And the third and final question we have: how does Shakespeare present Macbeth as a tragic hero? You should consider looking at Act 5, Scene 5, where Macbeth learns about the death of Lady Macbeth and that Birnam Wood has begun to move. Now, just to note, please remember these are predictions and giving you all the potential questions that may come up, okay, in your upcoming exam. So do not rely on this solely for your revision, and you need to be revising all the key themes and revising everything so that you have the maximum chances of success in your exams. So that's for Macbeth. Now, moving on, the next text, to those of you studying A Christmas Carol, how does Dickens present the importance of kindness in society? So you need to look at Stave 5, where Scrooge is full of joy and praises a young boy as he sends him to buy a prize turkey for the Cratchit family. The second possible predicted question is, how does Dickens present the importance of family? So you need to consider looking at Stave 4, where the Cratchit's family grieve the loss of Tiny Tim. And the last and final prediction is, how does Dickens present the importance of guilt or regret in helping Scrooge change his ways? And you need to look at Stave 4, where the ghost of Christmas yet to come reveals Scrooge's grave to him. So these are possible questions for A Christmas Carol. So remember, what I would say is, ideally you'd want to answer some practice paper questions based on these questions, under time management as well. And then for Paper 2, to those of you studying An Inspector Calls, how does Priestley present Mrs. Burling as a selfish character? Yes, that is a possibility. Mrs. Burling hasn't come up as often, okay? So it's something that may arise, and the exam board may, decide to have a question on Mrs. Burling. Second question, how does Priestley present Eva Smith as a character who represents the struggles of the working class? And the last question is, how does Priestley present the inspector as a powerful character / force for good? Now, the last one, I'm sure many of you know, we've answered this question previously. To those of you who I teach, you'd know we've answered this in class as well. We've looked at grade 9 answers, model answers, and you all have attempted this question as well. So if you can you imagine if a question like this appears, I'm sure you all will be excited because we've already answered this question in our online tuition classes. So that is for Inspector Calls. And remember, as I've said previously, make sure you learn the key themes, the key character analysis, the quotes, etc., context, XYZ. And then your poetry, the second section, section B for paper 2. We are predicting 3 or 4 potential questions or poems, okay? And hopefully it'd be one of the 4 that we have predicted. Compare how the power or importance of identity is presented in Checking Out My History and one other poem. The second, compare how the impact of conflict is presented in Poppies and one other poem. The third being, compare how the power of nature and suffering is presented in Exposure and one other poem. And potentially, you may see the poem of Tissue. I'm sure many of you have asked, sir, will Tissue come up? The question is, we never know, and the interesting news is that it's yet to come up. And will the exam board use tissue? Who knows? It may come up, although I do think it's unlikely. The reason is generally speaking, most students find tissue challenging. So for them to solely select tissue, I think it's highly unlikely. But who knows? You never know. It could be this year where they give you tissue for you to actually analyze and answer. So we've got checking out my history, we've got poppies, we've got exposure, and we've got tissue. So these are the four that may come up, and let's see. Even if they don't come up, it's important that you go over all 15 poems so that you are well prepared for your upcoming exams. And remember, you'll find similarities and differences between the poems. So my advice to you would be to create like a comparison table for each poem, so then you know which one to compare to which. Okay, and that is it for today's video. Thank you all for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like and share with your family and friends. Do follow us on all social media platforms at East Education London. And if you did make it to the end of the video, do comment, I made it till the end, okay? Or I made it to the end, something like that, so I know you all stayed up till the end. To those of you who did watch the whole video, thank you so much. I do highly appreciate it. Good news is we've got plenty more exciting videos on the way. I know many of you have requested EduCast paper, EduCast content, EdXL content, etc. So I am working on it, so just bear with me. As you can imagine, I'm juggling the teaching side of things alongside my job, etc. So just bear with me, but definitely these videos will be going live in the next coming days. We just need to make a few edits, etc., and then it should be ready to go. So yes, thank you for watching. Have a nice day, and I shall see you very soon. Thank you.